Good morning. How are you all doing this morning? I remember several years ago, I saw a girl sitting in a classroom. And as she sat there, she was just murmuring to herself. And students were all watching her, and they quietly said that she was either psycho or insane. And these false accusations, they got me thinking. Have you ever assumed that your friend had OCD because they like to keep their pens and papers and supplies in order? Or assume someone was schizophrenic or they were insane because they were talking or murmuring to themselves? Do you know that OCD is an anxiety disorder characterized by unwanted repetitive thoughts or actions, or relieving anxiety by repeating actions? And schizophrenia, it's really the breakdown in relation between thought, emotion, and behavior, leading to faulty perception, inappropriate actions and feelings, withdrawal from reality and personal relationships into fantasy and delusion, and a sense of mental fragmentation. Or simply put, having a difficult time telling what is real or fake, simply because your mind is creating hallucinations. And I bet you didn't know that anxiety is really nervousness, fear, apprehension, and worry, or basically freaking out in certain situations. Quite often in today's time, we make reference to someone's actions as if they were symptoms of a mental disorder. I have had my fair share of this. In grade 8, I had just stepped out of an IT class, and I bumped into someone, and they were just shocked to still see me in school. And as we got into conversation, they tell me this: you know, if there was a school shooting at school, I thought you would have done it. And I just stood there. Like, I had no response. I'm just there like, what? And she's like, yeah, you were so quiet and you didn't talk to anyone. So we just, and I had no response. Like, think about that. My quiet demeanor got me the title, a shooter kid, or made some people think I was psycho. However, do people understand what a mental disorder really is? Do you know that a mental disorder is actually a pattern of thoughts, feelings, or behaviors that are deviant, distressful, and dysfunctional? For example, OCD, which stands for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. And keep in mind that mental disorders are deviant, distressful, and dysfunctional. So OCD is not just someone being tidy, where it is normal to wash your hands whenever you need to, or checking to see if the door is locked. It is not normal to wash your hands to the point where they're raw, or to check the door every 15 minutes. Another disorder you can see this too is ADHD. ADHD is a disorder that is typically seen in 7-year-olds who have 1 or 3, or probably more, of the following symptoms: extreme inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity, which is, once again, basically a child being unable to pay attention. What some people do not understand is how serious these disorders are. You cannot begin to imagine the struggle of someone with schizophrenia who cannot tell you what is real or fake, or the struggle they have when they cannot communicate as you and I can. Because the words, they just keep on getting jumbled up. And here's a fun fact. 1 in 4 people have a mental disorder. Mental disorders do not discriminate. Age, race, sex, gender, religion, whatever, it cannot stop a mental disorder. And having a mental disorder, it doesn't mean that you need to be locked up in an asylum or you need to be wrapped up in a straitjacket. People with mental disorders, they have the same lives as you and I. They can become writers, they can become artists, they can become lawyers, they can become scientists. In fact, Charles Darwin did most of his work because of his anxiety. His anxiety got so bad to the point where he stayed inside more, and he only would have gone out to be around nature or to be with his wife. And let's look at how science is now. Most of the things we study is because, well, not most, a large portion of the things he's done has helped us in our psychological thinking. It helps us understand more things. Now, but look what he had. Anxiety. He couldn't go outside. He didn't like to be around people. But look at him now. They can do it all. They just have a setback. So don't discriminate someone because they have a setback. They are just like you and I. Can you imagine how much pain you would be in if someone treated you like dirt just because you don't act like someone does? Or they think you might become a criminal because of who you are? I honestly believe that there is a way to help people understand mental disorders. Schools should implement a program where mental disorders are more explained to students. And local news shows what they could do at least once a month, explain a mental disorder, so even the entire populace at least have the opportunity to understand one. Now, look at the person to your left and look to the person at your right. You cannot tell from just one look of that person if they have a mental disorder. And even if they just so happen to have one, so what? At this exact second, they're doing the exact same thing as you. So I leave you to ponder this. Why make a difference abnormal and keep the mistreatment of someone as a daily occurrence? Thank you.